question that we asked doctor, and someone also reiterated that same question that he should answer, which is whether Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, known as Jesus by the Christians, whether he is dead or alive. Now, doctor, I would like you to shed more light on that.
وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه بإحسان إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
Abu Bakr, Isa ibn Maryam, before I start, I want to remind you and all listeners the famous quotation from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said, "Ana awla nasi bi Isa ibn Maryam," that for Muslims, Isa ibn Maryam belongs to them more than he belongs to any other belief. Muslims and Islam, they specifically, they are very strong on protecting his image, respecting him and his values, and whatever Muslims say or do about Isa ibn Maryam is on the high side. So as far as Islam is concerned, Isa ibn Maryam alayhi is not dead. He's still alive. When the Jews wanted to crucify it, as you read it the last time from the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it very clear that he was lifted. He was taken to God. He's still alive. He remains alive until the time he comes back. Until he comes back and preach in the way of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, calling for people to return to Sunnah al-Muhammadiyya, that is the Islamic faith, alayhi salatu wasalam. So the last time I decided to shelf it until today because I knew that I read some minority opinion, but I could not confirm whether it was from the side of the Muslim theologians or the Christian theologians. But when I went to the sources, the Sunnah sources, the Tafsir sources, definitely for Muslims, Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam is not dead, he's alive, and he'll come back.
Okay, someone also sent me a question, doctor. I don't know whether he's a Muslim or a Christian. I suspect him to be on the side of the Christians. He said, "Salam, brethren. If Jesus is still alive and coming back to rescue Islam," a keyword there, to rescue Islam, what would be his status and how old will he be? That is one part of the question.
Let me first of all correct the word rescue. Nobody is rescuing Islam. Islam does not have to be rescued. Islam, progresses.
It's a wide and spreading religion.
Yes, and it progresses by itself.
Yeah.
And this is the only religion of the way of life which spread very rapidly once it is attacked. In other words, instead of getting it wicked, or instead of knocking it out, once it is attacked, once there are sort of conspiracy against it, it starts spreading like a bushfire. So he will come not to rescue Islam, to preach the message of Islam. And that was why I started by the tradition that Prophet said that Ana awla nasi bi Isa ibn Maryam. He said that he is the nearest person to Jesus. You understand? It's just like a brother. So his status is he's going to be a Muslim and he's going to preach the Islamic faith.
Just like other Islamic scholars.
Exactly. He's not going to rescue. In fact, and according to the many traditions reported from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are certain signs that today are identified with Christianity. He's going to destroy those signs, like the cross, and he will also affirm or sort of repeat the message of Islam that prohibits eating pork and some other practices. So there's nothing like coming to rescue. He's coming back to preach Islam like the saint, the awliya, the ulama do for the Islamic faith. Islam doesn't have to be rescued. Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafizun. This is a way of life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guaranteed to protect. It enjoys divine protection, and that is why from the one it was revealed until today, not even a single word has been altered. There is no way that you can do in the Holy Quran's intact. That's why the Prophet remains intact. The obligatory duties, the system of life, the economic belief. It is a question of Muslims addressing or conducting their way of life in accordance with the teaching of Islam or doing otherwise. Okay. But it remains intact, and it continues like that until the day of judgment. Okay.
That's the first part of the question. The second part comes. He said,
how old he is going to be, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that there's well, unless you want to do a normal, mathematical calculation. And what people need to remember, Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam, was preaching for how many years? 950 years.
Preaching. Yeah,
you understand? Yeah. Preaching, for 950 years. So I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept him preaching for 950 years. And since the migration of the Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are now 1400. Yes.
1430.
Yes. I mean, he can live 2,000 years, even more than that. Whatever the case, it depends on what Allah wills, what Allah wants it to be. But that is the situation. Allahu alam.
Okay. The second part comes in. He said, and if he is to be borrowed, keyword there, borrowed. Borrowed. Yeah, from another religion, right? Is that not contaminating? Keyword there again. The Holy Prophet's finality.
Who's Holy Prophet? Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said. He said, if Isa is to be borrowed from another religion, to Islam, he said, is that not contaminating Holy Prophet Muhammad's finality?
I think the problem here is it seems that we are speaking from different worldviews.
Yeah.
From our vision of reality is different, fundamentally different. Our vision of an understanding of religion and the divine revelation probably is fundamentally different. Borrowing from who? As far as Islam is concerned, beginning with Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, up to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the prophets that were sent by God, they belong to the same divine origin. They continue the same message. And that is why if you, maybe he's not familiar with Islamic theology, and I doubt even whether he knows Christian theology very well. He understands Christian theology very well. Probably he has no clue of Christian theology and Islamic theology. Whether he's a Muslim, he's a non-Muslim, it's simple. But if you understand the nature of wahi, revelation, there's nothing like borrowing Isa from a different religion. Whose religion? As far as we are, and that is why I say, and let me repeat this, for Muslims, the way Muslims value Isa ibn Maryam, the way Muslim, present him and respect him and revere him is second to none. You're talking about borrowing him from somebody no. It's part of
our religion.
Our religion.
Yeah,
you must believe in his prophethood before you can become Muslim. As a matter of fundamental principle of Islamic theology, one must believe that Jesus was a prophet of God. If you believe otherwise, you are not a Muslim. So in other words, the divine revelation is one. The message started with Adam. Every time Allah will send a Nabi, that is, or a Rasul, you have this different technical, a messenger and a prophet. The messenger might not be sent to any community, but the prophet is asked to go and convey the message to other people.
The messenger, yeah.
Up to the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the reason why, one of the reasons why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam emphasized the relationship and the close relationship between him and Isa is he came immediately after Isa ibn Maryam. No interval. For Musa, Isa came in between, but for Isa or for Jesus, nobody came in between. He came next to Isa to continue the same message. And that is why if you read the Holy Quran, all the revealed books and the messages revealed by God, they are incorporated in the Holy Quran. And the conclusion was, therefore, that all these revelations came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to different prophets from Adam to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are incorporated in the Holy Quran, but they have been repealed as far as Islam is concerned. Therefore, in the deen and the light Islamu, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. The Islam says that, and from the big coming of Prophet Muhammad today, the only acceptable way of life to God is Islam, deen, in the deen and the light Islamu. You understand? So, it's interesting to say borrowing him. So there's nothing like, in other words, to cut it short, There's nothing like borrowing.
So aside from that, he said, will it contaminate? So